Meet Guy. He's a part-time Amazon seller and full-time IT worker who's able to go from zero to making over $10,000 profit a month selling name brand products on Amazon using my coaching program. In this video, we're going to dive into his entire story, secrets to success, and exactly how you can become a successful part-time Amazon seller in 2025. Let's get right into it.
What's up, Guy? Welcome to the party, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Miles? Doing good, man. How you doing?
Dude, well, I was saying you typically join all the coaching calls in like the living room, but now you're in the workstation, right? Which is cool and everything. So it's cool to kind of see the behind the scenes of your operation as well. But just to provide some context, you want to just fill the audience in on, who you are and, your experience selling on Amazon and how the past couple months have gone?
Yeah, sure. Experience-wise, so I started selling on Amazon at around 2017, 2018, doing the used books model. So I was out with my software on my phone, my scanner, my earbuds, scanning thrift stores, library sales, what they call it, you get rid of a house and they have like all the leftover stuff.
Oh,
Anyway, I was
estate sale.
yes,
Yeah,
estate sales. I was
doing
going
some
to
of
it.
those too. Yeah.
Yeah, I did pretty well at 1 or 2 estate sales. But yeah, so that's how I started out, kind of doing the used books. Did that for quite some time, actually. I think I stuck with used books for probably about 4 or 5 years, just kind of floating, doing the same thing. I got up to the point where I was starting to hire scouts. So I basically had like a team. We got up to 3 or 4 scouts, basically teach them the ropes, set your triggers, have them go and do their thing. And then COVID kind of shut us down hard. Couldn't really go out to the thrift stores. And I was always sort of getting to the point where I was like, okay, like this is scalable to a point, but I want something that I can kind of scale myself a little harder. Something I feel like I can grow within like my realm of skill sets. I have a background in IT, so I was like, how can I leverage that? So that kind of is what pushed me to look at OA and look at wholesale. I've been following Buy Box Bandits. I've been kind of looking at your journey and taking a lot of the words of wisdom you have out there. And I was like, you know what, let's get out there. Let's kind of open up. Let's try it out. So joined the course, learned a little bit about OA, and here we are today in my own warehouse.
Boom. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. And what were your December totals?
December totals, for all December, I think I ran about 43K revenue.
Yeah. And so what would the profit be on that?
So December, I did about 40% profit margins. On
So
that
you got some
43.
books in there too, as well, then, probably, right?
Yeah,
So,
they're not many.
not
I
many.
was just,
Okay.
I mean, as I'm starting, I'm usually meticulous. I like to be very picky about things. I was kind of letting go of small profit and kind of dialing on the big profit items. I mean, that's definitely a lesson I learned. Like, I feel like I could have done better.
Sure.
Take
Oh,
the
of
3,
course.
take the 4, take the $5. Like, it's gonna move. But
Yeah,
live
and
learn.
that's awesome. Yeah, part-time too, because you're a part-time seller, right?
Yeah. So I have a career in IT. I've been doing that for goodness, about 15 years now. So I have an engineering background. I also run a roofing and contracting company with my dad. So I help him out a lot there when we kind of run that together. And then I do the Amazon as well. So part-time, but I put in as many hours as I can get, and I feel like I'm getting a lot out of it. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, and that's what I like about this stuff too, is it lets you own the result, right? And that like a lot of like men especially, right? Like there's no like competitive nature to what they're doing to make money just at their job, right? But the cool thing about selling Amazon is you can meet lots of people, right? And it lets you own the result in the respect that if you do more work, you make more money, but not only that, but if you do more work, you also get better to where additional hours become more valuable too. So it's like leverage twice in that, like, if you work more, you make more, but if you work more, you get better. So you make more on that time. Right. And everything. And I'm sure some people are watching, okay, thinking like, okay, how the heck is this guy manages time and everything with the stuff you got going on? So break down that, because I'm, curious on that too, for, someone who has a family, has a career. Like, what does it look like being a successful part-time seller from a time management perspective?
Yeah, it's a good point. I also have 2 kids in a family. That's my other job, right? So I got my 9 to 5, my kids. It's I mean, we make it work. I mean, you got typical 9 to 5, so wake up. I luckily get to work from home. So I have that working for me. I can jump my laptop, do my engineering, do my IT stuff, and then after work, I'm right back on the computer doing some sourcing. making sure I have stuff coming in, make sure I'm reconciling shipments, stuff like that, coming out here, sending off. So I'd say I probably do my 9 to 5, and then I can jump out here in the shed or do sourcing on my computer at my house for 2 to 3 hours a night and still feel like I'm being quite effective. As you said, it's like I have a little more control of my time. I can make my time extremely valuable and focus on sourcing and stuff like that. And if I ever want to get to the point where I want to really tighten up, I can kind of outsource things, and I can dial in my time even more. Something you don't really get with a 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is 9 to 5. You can get a lot done that period, you can get a little done that period. Whereas this Amazon is kind of side gig, just side gigs in general. It's like you get more bang for your buck. If you wanna haul ass and really hit something hard, you can, and you'll get the results out of it, even with a short period of time.
Yeah, and so when so you were selling used books for a while. When did you start doing the arbitrage side of things, though?
I'm about 5 or 6 months in the arbitrage, so I'm still quite new to it. And it was just making that switch, coming off that model that didn't feel like you could scale it to the moon like I really wanted to. I wanted to get in something that I feel like would have limitless buys, like limitless sources of income and limitless sources of inventory. That's what kind of drove me into going to OA, with the end game being wholesale. But capital intensive, you kind of build your way up to it, and get these good land relationships and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Boom. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and so talk about like what initially gave you the proof of concept on the arbitrage side of things, because people come all the time from another business or flipping on eBay or selling used books on Amazon. Like what really gave you the confidence to start taking arbitrage super seriously and put a lot of time into it?
So luckily I had proof of concept with Amazon in general. Like I knew it could work. Obviously we've been making some source of income from Amazon doing books. But it was that first sale that hit. I don't remember what brand it was, but it was like the first big sale. I think maybe I learned from like the course. It was like, okay, like these are one of these big times. Like we know this sale happens like 2 or 3 times a year. This is the time to hit it. I'd leverage gift cards, I'd leverage cash back, and as soon as I saw that these items are essentially replenishable, that's what kind of gave me like, okay, this thing can really work. Like I got my items, they're brand new, there's nothing to do with them, they're not dirty, I don't have to clean them, I don't have to process them too much. I mean, in the sales velocity we're seeing between the difference of used books and something like shoes or a t-shirt or a toy or something like that is just crazy. It's like when I was doing books, you wouldn't really see too many waves. It'd kind of be like a flat line. Like you'd get sales and you'd see movement, but it's not like when you're doing like these big brands and this OA stuff where you're seeing these huge spikes and these seasonality of these things. And even not with seasonality, you have so much data when you're looking at that. I don't know. I just feel like things they crank out so much harder with OA.
Quick interruption from the video, guys. If you want personalized one-on-one help directly from me and scaling up your Amazon business or starting your Amazon business, now's a great time to go down below to the link in the description and put in your information to see more information and apply for my coaching program. So if that's something you're interested in, take a look at that, put in your information and apply. If you want direct one-on-one help from me starting your Amazon business or scaling up your Amazon business, take a look at that, and back to the interview with Guy.
Yeah, and for any of you guys that are unfamiliar with selling used books on Amazon, that's how pretty much everyone used to start back in the day. Now, luckily, most people, should just go straight into, OA and R, right? But books are incredibly profitable. They just sell a lot slower. So a typical book flip, you'll pay $1.50 used book at a thrift store, sell it for $12, make $4, but at that item, you only get one of it, most likely, and you probably can't sell them super fast, even if you did have a bunch of copies, right? So it's just a different business model, right? But OA, right, you're going to make 30, 40, 50%, but you can go sell a good item 20, 30, 40, 50 times a month, as I'm sure now having gone through your first Q4 as a seller too, right. As well,
Oh, Q4 was amazing.
100%, right? Yeah,
it was such a rush. It's so different. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's normal to do 50% of your volume for the entire year in November and December, right? But when you haven't been through one, or you haven't been through one with the right info, right? And you brought up a good point there, is that you got proof of concept pretty fast once you had the right info, right? And the problem is most sellers, they just limit themselves from an upside perspective because they just do it only on their own, right? And now I'm not saying go pay for something, right? Which can totally be helpful, as it's been for both of us, right? But what it really takes, in my opinion, is just other people that sell on Amazon in your life, right? And I know you've done a great job of that, and I don't think you had previously prior. right?
No, I will say, like, if I had to list one weak points and something, I'd go back on, don't be me. Don't try to grind away and do this thing alone. There's no boogeyman out there who's going to steal your sales. No one's going to impact your model that much that you can't do it. Do you reach out, man? Talk to people. Put it out there. Let people know what you're doing. I mean, shout out, to my homies, Phil, Donald, and Tyler. I mean, with
Love
those
that.
guys, I mean, we knock out some sourcing together. We're sharing ideas. We're talking about the next year. What did we learn from Q4? What can we improve on? I mean, it's good to have a group, for sure. I mean, it took me a while to reach out, but I swear, as soon as I did, it's like exponential growth. Exponential. It's insane.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where it makes it's like you unlock a different part of your brain, because theoretically it makes no sense to tell people what you're doing. But then when you consider, it's like, okay, if you would consider, like, okay, well, if you're attempting to speak Spanish and you see a bunch of people speaking Spanish, they're all smiling, they're having fun, they're very good at it, right? But you're over by yourself with a bunch of people who only speak English, don't care about speaking Spanish. Naturally, speaking Spanish is going to be harder for you than it is for the people that are around a bunch of people, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's a big struggle for a lot of people selling on Amazon, is they just don't have anyone that sells on Amazon in their life yet. Luckily, Instagram's free, Facebook's free, right? Discord, right? All these free communities, you can find people who speak the language, who are interested in it, who have a growth mindset, right? And everything. So break down in terms of, I see some boxes behind you, right? Break down your setup in terms like FBM, FBA, OA, prep centers. Break down like you're just set up and structured business-wise.
So when I did books, I was 100% FBA, 99.9% FBA. Occasionally, I get something. I'm like, it makes more sense to do FBM. This Q4, I think we were like 90% FBA, or sorry, 90% FBM and like 10% FBA. And that's only because it got to the point where it didn't make sense to send anything else into FBA. So I was like, okay, I'll do FBM. I mean, I was listening to advice of those around me, right? Those that have done it, those that have been through these times already. Um, now with that. Now with Q4 out of the way, we're probably going to float to a little more FBA. We have this warehouse and it's nice, but we want to kind of use this as like our prep center, right? We want to prep these things, get them out, get them in the FBA, and fall back on FBM only where it really makes sense. Like if it's a heavy listing on FBM, we'll do that. We'll cash out, get that quick return, but we're trying to lead on FBA hard until next Q4, and then we're going right back into FBM.
Yeah, because FBA scales significantly better, right? But
Yeah,
FBM
yeah,
is
for
great
sure.
for testing stuff when you're a beginner,
Mhm.
right? And then
Which we
FBM
did.
is
We did it a lot. Yep.
Sure, right, exactly, right? And that's how you learn. That's how you get proof of concept. Because if you're, doing only FBA as a beginner, there's going to be a several week period between you buying something and even
Yeah.
having the chance of knowing if it was a good idea or not, right?
Right.
But if you FBM something, you can order it or order pick up it or retail arbitrage it and have a decent idea within 72 hours or even a day if it starts to sell quick, right?
Yep.
And that compressed time frame helps you learn significantly quicker, right? So FBM is great for testing stuff light, as long as you can see other people FBM on those listings. And then during Q4 and back to school, right? And the FBA scale is so nice. That's why you'll notice a lot of the biggest sellers on listings will mostly be FBA, right? Because it scales a lot better. They're confident, just like you're confident now. And now you can go ahead and primarily focus on the OAs or the FBA side of things too. Well,
Sure.
what gets you interested in the wholesale business model long term?
I feel like it's just a good way to throw capital at something and get a good return. I feel like having that brand relationship, that reliability of replens that you can always get your hands on, even though the profit margins are smaller. I feel like you're dealing with products that move fast. You can always get your hands on them. I was even actually looking into the possibility of doing like group buys. It's something I'm learning as well. Yeah,
Sure.
like do community purchasing, man. Do big POs, split them with the homies, something like that. It's just I feel like it's part of it's part of the evolution of OA. I feel like I've learned OA is crazy scalable. Like you can do very well with OA, but I want to get to the point where I can just throw cash at something, And then after wholesale, my next game from there is real estate, something you can just dump capital into and just get good returns on.
Yeah, you got a really good long-term mindset about it and everything,
Sure.
right? And it's the key is for any of you guys watching, it's thinking very long-term and being very anxious short-term about what you got to go do today, right? And that, like Gary Vee is a good quote. It's like patient in the macro, right? And impatient in the micro or something like that, where like you think long-term, but you execute today to make that long-term vision, possibility, right? Impatient or impatient with actions, patient with the results. right? And everything too. And so what you said several times, right, is, you know, finding your group of sellers and how you're able to take advantage of different stuff in the community. How do you actually go ahead and do that though, right? Because everyone that's watched enough of my content pretty much knows, okay, or at least if they believe me, right? Networking is important, right? How did you go about and find that kind of team of other sellers that were down to collaborate, that were down to get on Zoom, that were down to mastermind? Like, what did that actually look like?
So it was me just kind of reaching out and looking for like-minded individuals. So on the program, I basically was hitting up the boards and stuff like that, and looking for people. And I wasn't just looking, I wasn't just putting out posts saying, "Hey, looking to make money. Who else wants to make money?" I wanted to get people that like literally had the mindset I wanted, which is, I'm looking for someone that wants to dive into OA, has some experience and knows, kind of the ins and outs of Amazon, and I want someone that kind of understands or knows the direction I'm going. I want to go like a kind of automated route. I have a background in engineering. I want to leverage that as much as I can. So I'm looking for like-minded individuals, that want to eventually have a team of VAs that would eventually be able to outsource actions that, are not really time worthy, that stuff we can push out and really focus and dollar our attention into the important things. And that hit me off with, I think it hit me off with one of our guys, Phil. We kind of chatted a little bit. I knew a guy, he knew a guy, then we basically joined together. We're like, hey, we have a few more people that we're going to kind of bring into this. And then since then, I do have trying to get a little more active on social media. So, I got my X account now. I'm going to be
Yeah,
using
that's
that
what I'm
to.
saying, man. So for
It
people
took
who
me a
want
while,
to,
but I did it.
well, exactly, right? And you'll start to see positive feedback from it,
Right.
similar to anything, right? It's like, okay, this works. It's helping my life. I'm going to do more of it. So I'm going to get better at it, right?
Mhm.
And everything too, which is a great thing and everything,
I'm
man.
gonna put value out there and see what happens.
Well,
Right.
exactly, right? And you find people that think like you, or that want what you want, or that have what you want, right? And
For
you
sure.
just, it's no one's life ever got worse bringing more good people into it.
No,
Right?
it doesn't
Yeah,
cost
well,
me anything out
exactly,
of
right?
it.
And the internet doesn't limit you based on geographical location too, which is very helpful
Right.
as well too, man. And then, as we finish up here, man, where can people find you on social media if they're interested in following more of your journey?
Yeah. So X account, it's fresh, but I'll be throwing some stuff on there. So it's a guy at License to Flip. Um, I'm going to be detailing this journey. It's not just going to be Amazon, so it's kind of business outside of the normal 9 to 5. So I got a background in home improvement. I've flipped a few houses on my own. I own some real estate, so it's gonna be kind of detailing the whole thing and how it all combines. Making it to that next level. So
Cool. That's
stay
what's up,
tuned.
man. Well, dude, super excited of what you've done so far. And you're just getting started in respect to OA and just business journey as well. Like, it's a beautiful thing, man, and everything. So
Yeah.
appreciate you guys watching too and everything. And then definitely go follow Guy on Twitter as well. And just thanks a lot for doing the video, man.
Yep. Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
100%, man. Thanks to all you guys for watching as well. We'll see you in the next one.